In the high-stakes theater of global power, it's easy to mistake movement for progress and noise for strength. But what happens when the architect of a storm gets trapped inside their own creation? Today, we're going to dissect a serious clash of wills. And this isn't just about nations facing off. It's about two fundamentally different ways of thinking about power itself. And that really brings us to the core question here. Are we witnessing a masterstroke of coercive diplomacy, a strategy designed to paralyze an opponent through sheer force of will, or is this just a reckless defiance of the timeless laws of conflict? To even begin to answer that, we've got to get inside the strategy that's driving all this chaos. All right, so to really understand the architect, we have to get inside their philosophy. Let's start with a strategy that doesn't just accept chaos, it actively uses it as a tool. So there's a term for this mindset, riskophile. It's someone who doesn't just tolerate volatility, they thrive on it. For them, the adrenaline rush of a high-stakes gamble isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's a core part of the strategy itself. For a leader like this, a conflict without that thrill, well, it's just plain boring.
And this is where you can really see the two opposing worldviews laid bare. It's fascinating. On one side, you've got the art of the deal. What's the goal? Maximize wealth. Pure and simple. The philosophy is pure individualism. Justice? It's all about the outcome. And the leadership style is, bold, charismatic. Then you flip it. You've got Sun Tzu's The Art of War. Here, the goal is totally different. Win, but at minimal cost. It's guided by harmony, by discipline. And the ethical use of power, that's absolutely paramount.
And it's not just philosophy. You can see it in how they operate. One path is all about gut feeling, pure instinct, improvising in the heat of the moment. The other, it's built on meticulous, careful planning, the belief that the real victory is forged long, long before the first shot is ever fired. So here's the bottom line. One leader embraces the chaos, while the other seeks to master it through foresight. Two totally different games. Okay, so let's shift from the theoretical, from the architect's mind, and look at the devastating real-world consequences. Because here's the thing, when you use chaos as a tool, you don't always control the outcome. Sooner or later, that chaos can start to control you. And the ripples, well, they spread far and wide.
And this right here, this is the world's economic jugular, the Strait of Hormuz. Any military escalation here isn't a regional skirmish. No, it instantly becomes a systemic global shock. It stops being a local conflict and becomes a crisis of supply for the entire planet. Just think about this number for a second. 20%. 1/5 of the entire planet's oil supply has to squeeze through this one single narrow choke point. So when that gets shut down, it isn't a regional problem, it's global paralysis. Full stop.
And you better believe the markets react instantly. This isn't some academic exercise. This is the immediate shockwave. We saw Brent crude prices jump nearly 30% in less than a week. That injects a permanent sense of risk into every single corner of the global economy.
But look, this isn't happening in a vacuum. The whole situation is dangerously amplified by pre-existing rivalries, like between the US and Russia. Military escalation, yeah, that's the biggest slice of the pie here at 35%. But you also have all these other factors, regional alliances, economic sanctions, various proxy groups. They all turn what should be a local fire into a massive global proxy war.
But the ripple effect, it doesn't stop with oil tankers. Not even close. The modern battlefield has a silent, invisible front. So now, let's shift our focus to the digital shadow war. Because this is the new reality of conflict, isn't it? Power isn't just measured by what you can physically destroy anymore. More and more, it's about what you can digitally disrupt. So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, here's the arsenal. We're talking widespread GPS jamming, which creates absolute chaos for commercial shipping. We're talking about disrupting financial networks to stop an enemy from mobilizing funds, hacking cryptocurrency exchanges, and of course, massive disinformation campaigns designed to spread psychological terror. And the key thing, not a single physical shot is fired. The strategic goal here is, well, it's pretty insidious. You get all the effects of war. You paralyze trade, you sow fear, but you do it all while maintaining plausible deniability. You're essentially holding the global economy hostage without ever leaving a single crater. But there is an alternative to all this, a counterpoint to the noise, to the chaos.
It's an ancient wisdom, and it argues that true strength isn't found in frantic action, but in strategic stillness. I love this quote. It creates such a powerful shift in perspective. It suggests that the greatest leaders, they aren't the loudest ones in the room. They're the ones who have the discipline to pause, to actually listen, and to see the entire system for what it is, precisely because they aren't trapped by their own frantic sense of urgency. And this gets to the fundamental caution of any master strategist. Sun Tzu understood that war, it's the ultimate failure of policy. It's a road to ruin that just drains resources, morale, and of course, lives. It's a place of profound gravity, not some stage for an ego trip. And right here, this is the ultimate principle of that mindset. The greatest victory is the one that requires no battle at all. Now, this isn't about being passive, not at all. It's about achieving your goals through superior positioning, through psychological strength, and through such meticulous preparation that the actual fight becomes completely unnecessary. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, it breaks down into 4 key steps. First, you pause. You just observe the entire system without falling into that trap of, I have to do something right now. Second, you prepare deeply. You understand victory is won in the planning. Third, discipline. You lead with humility, not with ego. And finally, when it is time to act, you do it with a purposeful calm, one that brings clarity to a situation instead of just adding to the chaos. So at the end of the day, we're left with 2 completely conflicting paths, really 2 different definitions of power. One philosophy seeks to create the storm, and the other seeks to master it from within. And maybe this is the final revelation. Look, the ability to generate chaos, that is a form of power, no question. But the strength to remain present inside that chaos, to stay calm, clear, and strategic, that's a form of mastery. One is about conquest, the other is about control. Which brings us right back to where we started. Was this a masterful application of pressure, the art of the deal played out on a global scale? Or was it a fundamental and frankly dangerous miscalculation of the very soul of strategy? The answer to that question? Well, it doesn't just define the fate of a region, it defines the very essence of modern leadership.